The power of salmon and sardines, a game changer for seniors. When James, a 74-year-old retired schoolteacher from Oregon, went in for his annual checkup, he wasn't expecting good news. His doctor was concerned. His cholesterol was edging into dangerous territory, his joints ached more than usual, and his memory lapses were becoming harder to ignore. "I just thought this was part of getting old," James admitted. But his daughter, a nutritionist living in Seattle, refused to accept that narrative. She gently encouraged him to make one simple change. Start eating salmon or sardines at least 3 times a week. First, James was skeptical. Sardines? Really? He'd only eaten them once, at a gas station back in the 80s, and wasn't thrilled. But his daughter assured him it wasn't about choking down cans of fish. It was about choosing quality, delicious, easy-to-prepare options rich in omega-3 fatty acids. So James gave it a shot. He began with grilled salmon, seasoned with lemon and dill, served over brown rice and steamed veggies. Then he discovered boneless, skinless sardines packed in olive oil and started adding them to toast, salads, even pasta. Within 6 weeks, the changes were undeniable. His morning stiffness was almost gone. He was sleeping better and feeling more mentally alert. His cholesterol dropped significantly, and for the first time in years, he felt energized enough to return to his favorite weekend activity, hiking local nature trails. His doctor was amazed. "Whatever you're doing," she told him, "keep doing it." What made salmon and sardines so powerful for James, and thousands of other older adults, was their dense nutritional profile. Both are rich in omega-3s, which reduce inflammation, improve joint flexibility, and support brain health. They're also packed with vitamin D and protein, which help maintain muscle mass and bone strength, crucial for aging bodies. And unlike larger fish, sardines are low in mercury, making them one of the safest seafood options for regular consumption. Perhaps the most surprising benefit for James was emotional. "I didn't realize how much food was impacting my mood," he shared. "But now I feel sharper, more upbeat, even a little younger. I'm not just existing anymore. I'm enjoying life again." His story isn't unique. On Reddit's senior health forums, stories like James pop up all the time. Real people making real changes starting with their plates. For seniors looking to improve their health without drastic diets or expensive supplements, salmon and sardines offer a low-effort, high-reward solution. Whether grilled, baked, tossed into salads, or eaten straight from a tin, they pack a punch in flavor and function. If you're caring for aging parents or aging gracefully yourself, these humble fish might just be the most powerful health upgrade you never saw coming. Avocado, the unsung superfood transforming senior wellness. When 78-year-old Margaret from Phoenix, Arizona, started experiencing joint pain and thinning skin, she assumed it was just part of getting older. Once an avid gardener and bridge player, she began turning down social events and avoiding time outdoors. Even opening a jar felt like a challenge, she recalled. Her granddaughter, a registered dietitian, came to visit one weekend and noticed more than just physical discomfort. Margaret seemed emotionally flat, even a little withdrawn. That's when the conversation turned to food, and one little green fruit came up that would quietly transform Margaret's life: the avocado. Margaret had never been a fan. "They looked mushy," she laughed. "And weren't they full of fat?" But her granddaughter explained that the fats in avocados, monounsaturated fats, are the good kind, especially for seniors. These healthy fats support joint lubrication, heart health, and even cognitive function. Curious and open-minded, Margaret agreed to give them a try, starting with just half an avocado each day. They began simple: a slice of avocado on whole grain toast, a scoop added to her lunchtime salad, and occasionally, blended into a creamy smoothie with spinach, banana, and almond milk. Within a month, Margaret noticed she was waking up with less stiffness. Her skin felt more hydrated and elastic. But the biggest surprise? Her mood. "It was like a fog had lifted," she said. "I felt more motivated to move, to go outside, to call my friends again." Scientific studies now confirm what Margaret experienced. Avocados are rich in lutein, potassium, folate, fiber, and those all-important healthy fats. For seniors, this combination helps regulate blood pressure, reduce inflammation, support brain health, and promote satiety, making it easier to maintain a healthy weight without feeling deprived. The fat in avocados also aids in absorbing fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, which are crucial for aging bodies that don't process nutrients as efficiently as they once did. On Reddit, in forums like r/nutrition and r/senior health, stories like Margaret's are becoming more common. Seniors and caregivers alike are discovering that this humble fruit, once dismissed as too trendy or too fatty, is actually a powerhouse for older adults. One post that went viral described a 70-year-old man who reversed his prediabetes numbers in part by swapping processed snacks for avocado-based meals. Others rave about its benefits for heart rhythm, memory, and even skin clarity. Margaret now calls avocados her daily dose of youth. She's back to tending her garden, playing bridge twice a week, and even teaching her friends how to make avocado toast. It's not just food, she says with a smile. It's fuel for living better. Whether you're aging gracefully yourself or caring for a loved one, adding avocado to your diet might be the most delicious way to protect both body and mind. Sometimes the simplest things make the biggest difference, and all it takes is a spoon and a ripe avocado. The breakfast that changed everything. Oatmeal and chia seeds for seniors. For 69-year-old Harold from Asheville, North Carolina, mornings used to be the worst part of his day. After retiring from his job as a city bus driver, Harold found himself waking up groggy, sluggish, and often with a pounding headache. Breakfast was usually a sugary cereal or a couple of slices of white toast with butter, fast, familiar, but far from nourishing. I didn't think much about what I was eating, Harold confessed. I figured I was old enough to eat whatever I wanted. But after his doctor warned him about rising blood sugar levels and prediabetic symptoms, Harold knew he had to make a change. His daughter, an avid health enthusiast, suggested a new morning ritual. A warm bowl of oatmeal topped with chia seeds, sliced banana, and a dash of cinnamon. Honestly, it sounded like bird food, Harold joked. But he agreed to give it a 2-week trial. They made it together the first few mornings. Rolled oats simmered with almond milk, sprinkled with chia seeds, and naturally sweetened with fresh fruit. To Harold's surprise, not only did it taste good, it kept him full for hours without the usual energy crash. Within just 1 week, Harold noticed something remarkable. His brain fog had lifted. His energy felt stable through the morning, and he wasn't reaching for snacks before lunch. I actually started looking forward to breakfast again, he said. After a month, his doctor was impressed. His blood sugar levels had stabilized, his cholesterol improved, and he even lost a few pounds without trying. What makes this simple breakfast so effective? Oats are a rich source of soluble fiber, particularly beta-glucan, which helps lower LDL, bad cholesterol, and supports heart health. They also digest slowly, releasing energy gradually to keep blood sugar levels steady. Chia seeds, on the other hand, are tiny nutritional powerhouses packed with omega-3s, fiber, and plant-based protein. When combined, oatmeal and chia create a perfect storm of benefits for seniors. Reduced inflammation, improved digestion, balanced energy, and enhanced brain function. On Reddit's r/healthyfood and r/senior health threads, Harold's story echoes many others. One woman in her 70s shared how switching from a pastry to oatmeal with chia helped her manage type 2 diabetes. A caregiver wrote about her elderly father's improved bowel regularity after just 2 weeks of chia-enhanced breakfasts. These stories may seem simple, but they carry a powerful truth. What we eat in the morning can shape how we feel all day. Now, Harold has become an oatmeal evangelist. He experiments with toppings, blueberries one day, chopped walnuts the next, and even makes overnight oats for convenience. I never thought I'd be this excited about oats, he laughs, but it's been a game changer. For seniors looking to feel more energized, more focused, and more in control of their health, the answer might just be in the breakfast bowl. And it starts with 2 humble ingredients: oats and chia seeds. The healing power of vegetable soup, a simple dish that brought Dad back to life. For Emily, a 42-year-old caregiver from Denver, the decline in her 67-year-old father's health had been subtle but steady. Once active and sociable, her dad had become sluggish, withdrawn, and often complained of feeling bloated and tired all the time. Every evening he gravitated toward heavy meals, fried foods, processed meats, buttered bread, and afterward he'd slump into his recliner, barely able to keep his eyes open. Emily knew something had to change, but she also understood one thing. Her father wasn't going to respond to lectures or diet charts. So she decided to start small with a bowl of soup. She recalled her grandmother's old recipe. A hearty vegetable soup made with carrots, sweet potatoes, broccoli, lentils, garlic, and a touch of olive oil. No cream, no processed broth. Just real food cooked slow and seasoned with love. Emily began making it fresh every evening and invited her dad to join her. The first night he hesitated. Soup? That's rabbit food, he teased. But after a few bites he was hooked. This tastes like something your grandma used to make, he said with a smile. And just like that, a new tradition began. Within 3 weeks the difference was obvious. Emily's dad was sleeping better. His stomach discomfort had disappeared, and the scale showed a 7-pound drop without any change in activity. Even his mood improved. He was cracking more jokes, joining in conversations, and asking for seconds. When he returned to the doctor for his routine checkup, his blood pressure had berries and brighter days. How a handful of fruit revived my mother's mind and spirit. When Linda's 75-year-old mother, Joyce, began forgetting names, misplacing items, and repeating herself during conversations, the family grew concerned. While the decline was gradual, it was deeply unsettling. Joyce had always been sharp, quick-witted, and full of life. I started seeing this fog settle over her, Linda said. It wasn't just memory loss. It was like her spark had dimmed. The doctor mentioned age-related cognitive decline, possibly early-stage dementia, but emphasized that lifestyle changes, especially diet, could help slow the progression. That's when Linda stumbled on a story in a senior health forum about the power of berries. It sounded too simple at first. How could something as ordinary as blueberries make a real difference? But article after article pointed to the same thing. Berries are packed with antioxidants, especially flavonoids, that support brain health and memory function. Encouraged, Linda made a plan. Every morning, she blended up a smoothie for Joyce with blueberries, strawberries, a splash of almond milk, and a few spinach leaves. Sometimes they sprinkled fresh berries over oatmeal, or served them as a light dessert after lunch. Within a few weeks, small changes began to surface. Joyce was remembering appointments again. She felt more energized in the mornings and even asked to go on a walk, something she hadn't done in months. It was like watching her come back to herself, Linda recalled. The light in her eyes returned. Even Joyce noticed. I don't feel as foggy anymore, she said one afternoon, and everything just tastes better. Scientific studies now. Greek yogurt, the creamy secret that helped my mom feel young again. For Mark, watching his 72-year-old mother, Elaine, struggle with constant digestive issues was both frustrating and heartbreaking. Once the social butterfly of the family, Elaine had become hesitant to attend dinners or outings, often complaining about stomach pain, bloating, or just not feeling right. Her energy had dipped, her bones ached more than usual, and even simple tasks like walking to the mailbox seemed like a chore some days. Doctors ruled out anything serious, but they all said the same thing. At her age, digestion just slows down. Mark refused to accept that as the end of the story. He began researching simple, senior-friendly foods that could improve gut health and stumbled across a familiar, but often overlooked option: Greek yogurt. Not the sugar-filled flavored kind, just plain unsweetened Greek yogurt with live cultures. It turns out this creamy, tangy food is packed with probiotics that help balance gut bacteria, improve digestion, strengthen bones, and even boost immunity. Mark decided to make it part of Elaine's daily routine. First, she was skeptical. I'm not eating sour milk, she teased, but Mark found ways to make it more appealing. He added a drizzle of honey, some chopped walnuts, and a handful of fresh berries. Soon enough, Greek yogurt became her favorite mid-morning snack. It was easy to prepare, gentle on her stomach, and surprisingly filling. After just a couple of weeks, Elaine began noticing changes. The bloating eased. Her bathroom habits became more regular. She wasn't napping as often during the day, and had a little more spring in her step. But the benefits didn't. Olive oil and the Mediterranean secret that gave my dad a second wind. When 84-year-old Robert began experiencing dizzy spells and persistent fatigue, his family feared the worst. A proud Navy veteran and retired carpenter from Charleston, South Carolina, Robert had always been strong, steady, and self-reliant. But now he struggled with everyday activities. His blood pressure had crept up, his cholesterol was out of control, and even walking around the block left him winded. "I just don't feel like myself anymore," he told his son Greg. Doctors offered prescriptions, but Greg wondered if food might offer something medicine couldn't. That's when he started learning about the Mediterranean diet, and more specifically the power of extra virgin olive oil. Greg came across article after article and story after story about how a diet rich in plant-based foods, healthy fats, and fresh ingredients, centered around olive oil, could dramatically improve heart health, reduce inflammation, and boost longevity, especially for seniors. Skeptical but hopeful, Greg decided to slowly shift his father's eating habits. He didn't push it all at once. Instead, he started small. First, they swapped out butter for olive oil. Then came roasted vegetables, grilled fish, colorful salads with feta, and hearty lentil stews. Gone were the processed meats, canned soups, and frozen dinners. Everything they cooked was drizzled or sautéed with golden, cold-pressed olive oil. It was flavorful, filling, and didn't feel like a diet, Greg recalled. His dad, a lifelong meat and potatoes man, didn't just tolerate it, he actually enjoyed it. Within 2 months, Robert's transformation